Hey everybody, Wren here, and in today's video I will take you through a Yin Yoga practice with no props and considerations for immunity and boosting your immune system. I have with me today my friend Megan joining us. Super fun to have somebody in here with the studio recording with me today. So let's start in seated, any comfortable seated position that you want to be in. Your legs could be out, you could even be on your knees, and just settle in there and close your eyes. Let your breath fill your body. Breathing in nice, fresh air, filling the lungs. Breathing out. Coming to some quiet. Finding some ease. Just start to notice your breath. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Notice the expansion in your body as your belly presses out with the inhale, as the diaphragm drops. And in with the exhale, pressing out all the air. And giving yourself permission throughout this practice to really have an extended exhale for a purifying practice and to stimulate the relaxation response. And just be here now. Not leaving the external world out, just arriving for yourself. For a gentle practice. Feel free at any point, if you're sitting and seated, easy to switch the cross of your legs just as it feels natural to do so. And from here, with the next breath out, just gently let your chin go towards your chest. Still sitting up tall, but letting the chin drop toward the sternum. Take a few rounds of breath here to just really feel the stretch along the back of the neck. It might even be getting into the shoulders. And then right from where you are, as if there's a pencil at the end of your nose, make a little happy face. Just taking your head one direction and then the other, drawing a little smile. Just going at your own pace, connecting your breath to your movement here. And then bring your nose back to center with chin toward chest. With the breath in, bring your head back to neutral and tip the chin up toward the ceiling, but not dropping the head back so much as just lifting up the chin. And then go left and right with your nose again, just drawing a little line, just going at your own pace. Just really checking in here. And bringing your head right back down to center, chin towards your chest. With the breath out, take your left ear toward your left shoulder. Just finding space along the side of the neck there. Roll your head through center and take it to the other side. And then checking that that shoulder stays down. Sometimes it wants to ride up. And then go side to side with that, just on your own. Taking your head to one side, ear over shoulder, coming through center to the other side, going at your own pace. And find yourself back at center, chin towards your chest. Keep your chin down towards your chest, lift your shoulders up, back, and down. And then bring your head back up to center, just to neutral. Continue with those shoulder rolls, up, back, and down. Feeling free to cross your legs the other way or send your legs out in front of you or out to the side. Just getting what you need. So in today's practice, we'll do some balancing of left and right, and then so here, let's reverse that roll, coming up and forward and down. So back, up, and down. Just on your own, at your own pace. And we'll really do some channel clearing and some everything that we'd normally do in Yin Yoga, tapping into the joints. Being mindful, though, of where our face is in relationship to the floor. And then just come right back to center. And just a few tips like that, especially if you're a yoga teacher teaching a yoga class in this environment with no props. And I think these tips will be helpful for you. So we'll start with half butterfly. Now, some of you know this as Janushirshasana, where you do the leg out front. So taking your left leg forward. But we like to do this actually with it way more open. It's really good for the inner thigh stretch, especially in times of stress or sort of holding things in, that it's really good to get some movement, a little bit more movement around the hip joint. So from here, we'll tent the fingers and just take them out in front and lean forward. Shoulders are down. And you could stay here, it really depends on what you're feeling, or just trying to get into that hip joint a little, or you could add more of the back stretch here by dropping chin toward chest and starting to walk fingers forward a little, getting some rounding. So rounding in the thoracic, rounding in the low back, and then being mindful that if you have sciatica or disc issues, that rounding in the low back is probably contraindicated for you. So you would just want to keep the spine straight. But otherwise, we're just here. You could plant the hands down. So with no props, just being mindful that you're finding where you feel something, but you're not going too far. So you can use your hands as props here. You could even use your forearms if you felt like you were ready to go further, and just really let the head rest down and be soft. Nice, big breath in and out here. Letting the leg muscles just rest and be soft, so you may just initially be feeling a stretch in the inner thigh. And as you are here for a bit, you might feel more, you might want to go a little deeper, you might want to come out a little. That is all up to you. It just shouldn't hurt. If it hurts, back off. And if there's any knee strain, you could bend into the knee. Or you could come back up a little. We're here for about another minute, so just keep in mind if you want or need to back off, you can. If you feel that you want to go a little deeper, you just round a little further forward. And
can always use your hands for support. Just trying to be mindful of not putting your hands on your face. You could put them like right at your hairline or on the sides of your head right above the ears. Before we move here, just a full round of breath in and out on your own. And with tented fingers on the floor, start to slowly come up, very slowly. Notice what you're feeling in your body. Let your head be the last to come up. Nice and slow, and when you get there, hang out there. Keep the legs the same. Take the shoulders up, back, and down, and just rest here for a round of breath. So a lot of times I would guide a exhale from time to time through the mouth, but with the immunity considerations, I wouldn't do that here, so that's just a little tip for you. You can have your eyes closed as much as you like throughout a practice like this, and it really helps you go inside. If that's uncomfortable, eyes open is always fine as well. And we'll take those tented fingers again, and we'll just walk and turn toward that straight leg. So we'll just take the hands and turn toward the straight leg. You could stay here, or you could start to lean into that stretch just like you did toward the center. So you could be here, so you're getting a little bit of a stretch and a fold, so be mindful of what you're feeling in the back. And then just find a place where you feel something. I've been sitting a lot, so I can actually quite feel this in my muscles along the side. So I'm gonna hang out just really barely into this. Your head can hang. If for some reason though you get tired of the head hanging down, you can always just bring it back up. Just find where you can feel something. In the back, the sides, maybe even the hips, probably still the inner thigh a little. And then you're in control here, just like before, on if or when you want to round a little further forward. So there's no really goal here. There's no head to knee, head to foot. The goal is really just to feel something. Have some sensation that doesn't hurt. It could be felt in several different places, but just explore that for yourself. Keeping in mind if there was any knee strain or discomfort here, you could bend the knee and just rest your forehead on your knee, right above your knee. Keep that in mind. Otherwise, just finding some stillness here. Let the pose do the work. Softness in the forehead, face, neck, and shoulders. about 3 more rounds of breath here. So really as you're breathing in, feel the expansion across the back, across the shoulders, all the way into the chest area. And then use that extended exhale if you like, breathing out longer than you're breathing in. It's a very purifying type of breath. We're looking to clear stuck energy here in the joints, the tissue, the muscles. Start to slowly walk yourself back up. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Nice and slow. When you get there, let the shoulders come up, back, and down again. Even lean back onto the hands as an option. So if you're a yoga teacher and you have students who aren't comfortable sitting on the floor, there are options that you can do for all of this lying on the back, or if you have a wall available. So we'll come back forward and we'll take both arms up, reach up, inhale. Exhale, and we'll do a side bend. So left hand to the floor, right hand reaches over. And then again here, so normally in Yin Yoga, I don't do a whole lot of dynamic movement, but here, just because we know that people have maybe been stuck inside a bit, we could come back up to center, keep that bottom hand down, and then lean back over. And do that a few times, just so that you can feel what's happening in the side body and encourage that lengthening along the side. Maybe one more like that. And we're just kind of going at our own pace here. And then find a place where you can just settle in. Now that top arm might get tired, so you can always bring it down. So you don't have to have the arm up to get the side stretch here. So I'm going to keep mine down for now. My shoulder's a bit sore. And wherever you are, look down toward the floor, toward that bottom hand. And then look back to the front, and do that a few times. Just on your own pace. Now if your forearm is all the way to the floor, that's fine too. Or if you're more up here on fingertips, that's okay too. Just want to feel something in the side body. And then using that hand that's supporting you, start to walk it back toward you, coming up, bring the arms back up. And then we'll twist toward that straight leg. So keep it really simple, just moving toward the leg like we did with that fold. And then taking that front hand maybe to the back of the thigh, the other hand reaching behind a little. Sit up really tall. Keep the stress and strain out of the shoulders, breathing in. Breathing out. And then really useful here is to think about, if you're going to deepen this twist, think about the thoracic. So right at the bottom of the ribs, you can even take your hands there, breathe in, breathe out, maybe go a little more. So not so much deep twisting in the lumbar, but more about the upper body. So we're really getting some movement in there. That's one of the points of this practice, is to get the chi and prana moving all throughout the body. And the legs are still soft and relaxed. And I'm not overdoing it. I'm not really taking it into my neck. But you be where you are today. And we'll just start to walk the hands around, back, coming back to the front. Take the arms up one more time. Bring them right down to center. Really good. So in between sides here, we'll do straddle and move just a bit. And both legs come out. So keep in mind, if you have students, I have a lot of students who have tight hamstrings because maybe they're runners and they don't really do a lot of yoga or stretching. So you can always have them just laying back here. And then the feet can kind of get a little flop. Get the toes going, get the ankles circling. That's a good time to do that. And it's really good to release stuck energy. So even in Yin Yoga,
good too, especially for an immunity practice. Even bounce out the legs a bit. And it gives people a moment to get the wiggles out. So you could stay there, or you could come back, tented fingers to the front again, and this is where we'll start. So some people might feel better with knees bent or hands behind the thighs. These are all options that you can do, especially when you have no props. Ooh, tickle, tickle. And then you just start, just like we did before, finding where you can feel something here. I'm just gonna let my head rest, my shoulders are down. And again, like I said before, if you know you're not supposed to round your back, then you can just have the chest leading. But otherwise for Yin Yoga, we're looking for that safe compression of the lumbar, of the lumbar, and then maybe rounding into the thoracic, and just be where you are, where you feel something today. Let the knees be soft, the legs be soft. You might mostly be feeling it in inner thighs, and that's okay. Just find where you feel something, but not pain. And Yin Yoga is really an opportunity to take things really at stages. So if there's any goal, it would just be go to a place that you wouldn't normally go, maybe in your full Yang Yoga class. You're just gonna go and round the back till you feel something. Hang out a while. It's a slow, thoughtful journey. You may just stay at that first spot the whole time. You may find a point where you maybe want to go a little deeper. And that's really only happening at a point in time where you have stopped feeling the sensation. And think, oh, if I round a little more, I might feel it again. And that would be your guide. Again, if your head feels heavy, you can hold on to your head. Just try to avoid hands on the face. Keep some ease in the forehead, face, neck, jaw. And before we move here, a breath in and out. Really mindful. Slowly, I like to tent my fingers and then I kind of rock a little side to side as I come up, so I can really feel what parts of my body that was getting into. And the shoulders can go up, back, and down. You can lean back. You can even here rock a little side to side. And then bring the legs closer together, feet on the floor, and just a seated windshield wiper here, just back and forth. See what you're feeling there. Oh, that feels good. All right, then we'll set up for all of that half butterfly on the other side. So we're just gonna take that other leg out. One leg straight, one leg bent, find what feels good. And again, remember, you can have knee bent, you could be leaning back, totally up to you. Shoulders are down,
And then we'll find that little forward fold again. So remember, you can just be here, and then find a place where you might start rounding into it. Or you may just be at a place where you want to feel the inner thigh stretch. And if you're feeling that, that's fine, stay there. Find a version that works for you. Find some stillness. And we'll just stay here for a little bit. Check in with fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, and make sure that you're keeping some softness there. About 3 more full rounds of breath here. Full inhale and exhale 3 times. And after 3 rounds of breath, just remember, move slowly. Really taking time to notice what you're feeling. And this also gives the tissues a time to gently rebound. So we don't pop right into counter posing in Yin Yoga like we would in regular yoga. Shoulders go down. We'll take a little break here, a little breath in and out. And then with an exhale breath, we'll just make our way turning toward that straight leg, checking in there. So sometimes the twist here feels a little different from side to side. So you might choose to just stay here. You might start to forward fold here. So really the hands and the arms and the elbows here are your props. Start to come back up. So we're doing shorter holds today, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, 2, maybe sometimes 3.
down, come back to center. Your eyes can be closed if that feels good, and then breathe in and out here. And then we'll do that dynamic side lean toward the straight legs. We'll take the outside arm up and over. And then we'll just go back and forth a few times just so you can kind of feel what you're feeling in the side body today. Just doing this on your own, maybe inhaling as you come up, exhaling as you lean. That really gives you time to kind of check in what you're feeling in the side body. And then we'll all find a place where we can just stay in that side lean, remembering that that arm can come down. You're still getting the side body stretch. So really important here as we're working on channel clearing and immunity. There's this space between the top of your hip point, and the bottom of your ribs. There's this space there. There's a lot more space on this side that's open. So we really want to encourage that space there. Breathing in and out, you can really feel that. And then all along the intercostals. So even though it's Yin Yoga, we are still stretching the muscles and the ligaments. It's all really interwound together. Sometimes it takes the muscles softening a bit to really get to that soft tissue around the joint. Remember, your arm can be up or not. And then from wherever you are, take an exhale breath, look down. And we'll do that a few times, just looking forward and then down at your own pace. And bring your head back forward. Use the fingers of that bottom hand to slowly walk you up. Bringing both arms up when you're ready. Hands coming right down to center, right down to your heart. Give yourself a little smile of gratitude here. Breathing in and out. And we'll bring the hands down and we'll walk over that leg again and do the twist on this side. So shoulders go down. So maybe this is enough for you. Maybe you're feeling it. Otherwise, that front hand can go to the outside of the thigh. The back hand maybe reaches back, maybe not. Just mindful that you're not creating tension in the shoulders as you do this. And then the neck really doesn't have to be part of it, but if you like to look over that back shoulder, that's an option here. And then again, we're keeping in mind that space here between the bottom of the rib cage and the top of the hip point. We really want to keep that length there. And then maybe we're taking the twist further just by encouraging the ribs to move, really getting into that thoracic, a little gentle massage there. And all of these things like this are good to get any stuck energy out along the spine, the spinal column, and relaxing the whole nervous system here. Let your head come back to the front. Slowly walk those hands around. Bring the hands up once more. And right down to your heart. And slowly start to bring that leg in. And bring it out front. And we'll do that seated windshield wiper again. And unsnap, crackling and popping. And I don't know about you, but my stomach's growling. I think I forgot to eat I forgot to eat today, and I think Megan did too because I heard hers growling as well. So this is one thing. You can come back to center. So just a little point here is that when you do a yoga practice, you're creating a system change. So sometimes if your stomach starts to growl or something, and you didn't even realize you were hungry, it's because you've created this system change just by getting all the chi and the prana moving in the body. So we'll do a seated camel here. This would be my alternative to Sphinx pose because I really don't want to get people all the way down on the front on the mat like that. if I'm really kind of being conscious of germs. So we're just gonna lean back, or reach the hands back. My fingers are tented, my fingers are pointing behind me, but this really depends on how your shoulder sits in the joint. So totally up to you. Sometimes it helps to sway a little side to side to kind of find that place that you can feel something. And then what we'll do is we'll create a little back bend here. So it's a little bit in the lumbar, but it's more about the thoracic. So really it feels like you're really sticking your chest out. Now some people like to drop the head back here. I'm not gonna do that because my neck doesn't like that. But you could be anywhere in between. Chin could be lifting up, neck could be back a bit more. Just be mindful that if there's any strain in the neck, to find a neutral position so that you're not hurting your neck. And then we're just breathing in and out here. Now obviously we're holding ourselves up here more than we would normally do in a Yin Yoga class. But that's okay because we're pairing this with immunity boosting, and we really want to be able to feel that breath all across the front body. So find a place that you could settle in here. And just remember that you can deepen or lessen this. And if you just had students or you felt like this just really wasn't working for you, you could do seated cat-cow. So I'm going to let Megan stay in this for a few rounds of breath, and I'm going to come forward and just show you could just do this here. So hands right on the shins and reach, and like you're pulling the heart through. Just I wouldn't overdo the lumbar here because this is more about getting the upper body. And then you could even round that out if you had students that you thought they would experience that better, if there's just a little dynamic movement. So that's an option there. And otherwise, just kind of hanging out in whatever version that you want here. Eyes closed, breathing in and out. We won't stay here as long. Just really not overthinking the breath here, just a breath in and maybe a longer exhale than normal. Now if you're in the lean back version, rock a little side to side, bringing your hands forward. And then if you were leaned back, once you get forward, and either way, even if you weren't leaned back, do a couple of rounds of seated cat-cow, but make them really lazy. So like the animals at my house are really lazy, so you can think about like your lazy pets at your house, kind of doing it that way, more of a relaxed way. And then we'll make our way over onto tabletop. So I'm just gonna have my fingers right at the edge here just to make sure that they can see us somewhere in there. And then very gentle again, cat and cow. How much range of motion can you get here? And be organic with this, totally fine. So especially just getting out any kinks if you feel something in the hips. Doing this on your own breath. And then you could, I like to take my hands about a handprint forward, but we could do circles here. So really stretching into anywhere that you're feeling that you need to stretch, or even that you might want to linger. So you can go both directions here. And still popping over here. And then bring the hands right back under the shoulders and let the hips shift side to side a couple of times. And coming back to center. So just to get the synovial fluid moving a little bit more around the joint. Again, this is not exactly a Yin Yoga application, but we're going to do it anyway. So we're just going to take your left leg and take it out to the side, up and back. So what I'm trying to do is stimulate that fluid around the joint so that there's sort of a release, and we can go the other way, so that as we're staying hydrated, that we're getting more hyaluronic acid and collagen
being supported and nourished around the joint capsule, and then we'll just do the other side when you're ready. So I'm actually going to do this so that you can see, if you can't see how we're doing that. Just one direction and then the other. I'm going to come back to center and do the other side now because I didn't. Just doing that on your own. Not overthinking it, not creating too much muscular support in the upper body, just keeping it really simple. And then now we'll do toe squat. So I'm going to turn sideways and just let Megan do it from there. So from tabletop, curl the toes under and just kind of see where your students are or where you are here. And then maybe like a little walk with the toes, so you can kind of press into one foot and the other, one foot and then the other. And then I've had Megan go ahead and go all the way up. So for me, I have to take this really in stages. And this is about where I go. So I have Megan doing the full version. She's got the toes curled under, just like I do, but she's sitting up. So really you just want to go to where there's some sensation. This is so good. There's so many nerves in the feet. It's really good to get release. And we won't stay here as long, but just find where you feel something here. So even without props, you can do this by just letting the student decide how far back they want to go. Turn back to face the front. And then we'll do, so some people at this point would like to have a downward facing dog. So we're going to do that briefly. If you don't want to though, if you are doing downward facing dog, just kind of pedal out the legs and get that calf stretch. But if you don't want to do that, then it'll be child's pose, but it's kind of on the elbows. So not taking the head all the way to the floor. Just be mindful that we are trying to not put our face on the mat all the way. So you could support your head in your hands or your forehead, right on your wrists. And if you chose to do down dog, come on down and do this modified version of child's pose with us. And you've got this opportunity to, because your head's kind of not all the way to the floor, you can kind of do some neck circles here. And we'll come back to tabletop. And this could be down dog, up to you. We're going to make our way to standing forward fold for dangling. So I'm just going to take a foot there, a foot there. And I'm going to start with my hands or my elbows right on my thighs. I just want to show you this option. And my head's going to rest down. So Megan's going to stay where she is. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. So even if you have people, or if you are a student and you normally have blocks or support here, you can just kind of bend your knees and really use your thighs for support so that you can still get this without relying on blocks. So we're just in a version of dangling here, and you have all the normal options that you would. And I have my feet a little wider than hip distance. That's really up to you. So if you can do, if you can or want to reach for opposite elbows, even that can be done with the knees generously bent. It feels really good. You can really get a lot of length along the spine. The head is really soft. And then you could gently sway here, a little side to side. Breathing in and out. Again, just seeing what you're feeling in the hip joints, in the low back, and then come and find a space that you can be still. We won't be here too terribly long, but just for a bit. If for some reason you didn't need to have your head below your heart, you could do this seated, just with both legs out front.
Very similar to how we did straddle. The legs would just be closer together. So our next option here will be squat. So I'll let Megan take herself from dangling into squat. I'm going to show you an alternative while she's doing that. So I'm going to start with my hands on my shins. I'm going to walk up my legs, skipping my knee. Coming all the way up nice and slow, because that can make you kind of dizzy. Shoulders go down. And then you could just do a really gentle version of goddess here, maybe just with the legs. And other options would be, if you have a wall available, you could have done a whole wall sequence, but if you had a wall available, you could have someone legs up the wall, knees bent, and doing squat at the wall, or you could back up to a wall. I'm just going to use my window here, and lean back against it so that we're still getting into the inner thigh and the abductors and the hip joint, but it's more of a yin way because you're leaned back against a wall. So that would be an option for people. And if you had people, or if you are doing that option, maybe you don't hold it as long. I'm going to go ahead and go down here and join Megan for a few rounds of breath in squat. But either way is really fine. So just be creative. You could even do this on your back. We're not going to stay here too long. Just a few more rounds of breath. And we'll end up back in that forward fold. So I'll let you make your way there as you like. So I'm just going to press my hands into the floor. So if you were in this version, you could come back there, and that's where I'm going to stay right now. It's feeling pretty good. Forearms are right on the thighs. Megan's going to do whichever version she feels like for now. And then we'll make our way back to the floor. So you could step into down dog, or you could just step down to tabletop. So I'll let you have those options. And let's take that modified child's pose again. Megan and I are going to get some lunch after this because we both have growly stomachs. You know your yoga is working if you get hungry during your practice. Take a couple of rounds of breath to slowly make your way to seated. Just bring the legs around. Whatever comfortable seat you want to be in. So sometimes it's more comfortable to be on your heels. Totally up to you. We're going to do some dynamic side leans left and right just to kind of loosen everything back up in the shoulders. So hands come up. And we'll just go side to side. So you can do this with your breath. You don't have to be right together. Just inhale to the center. Oh, look, down dog. Oh, She says, I'm down dog. This is Audrey. She decided to make an appearance. I'll say hello. Hi. Oh my goodness. All right, one more each side or till you're even. Can you do side leans, Audrey? Bring those arms back up, and we'll do the same thing with the twist. So just nice and gentle, flowing. So
So we think we can kind of visualize flowing here and water and healthy tissue and fluids in our body moving, supporting us in the way they're supposed to, taking a break to pet the dog when you need to. I know you can relate if you're doing this at home. Maybe one more each side. Oh, you're so sweet. Love you. All right, then we'll come right back to center. It never fails. So then we're just gonna face each other here and lie down on our backs. So just making your way down nice and slow. Do you have enough room? And scooch this way if you need to. Breathing in and out here. And then we'll do reclined version of pigeon. So I like this in this environment because it's keeping our face off the floor. I mean, our backs are on the floor. So we're just gonna take one leg. Doesn't matter which side you do first. The ankle's gonna come right above the knee. And you can start there, just kind of pressing into that thigh and see what you feel. And you could stay there. If there's any sensation in the knee that hurts, then you can flex the foot. And you can stay there, or you always have options to bring that bottom leg toward you, reaching behind the thigh. Sometimes I like to just reach really low on the thigh because that gives me still room for it to kind of not be all the way hugged into my chest. Those options are there for you. So wherever you want to be, that you can really feel something into that hip. And sometimes you just have to pet the dog instead.
This is exactly where I want to be.
Love it. Just find where you feel some sensation that doesn't hurt. And find some stillness. Be here for a little bit. Another thing that you can be mindful of is that if you feel that your chin is up toward the ceiling or that your head is leaning back, is to just see if you can create some length there by bringing the chin more in line. Like if you were standing, it would be parallel to the floor. It's almost like your chin is tucked a bit.
Nicole. Hi. 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 Hello.
As you're ready, slowly release that foot back to the floor. If it was up, and the other foot down. And then we'll just go right to the other side. So taking that moment there to check in, press into that thigh and just see kind of sensation that you're feeling in that inner thigh and also in that hip before you decide which version you want. So this side for me is a lot more open. So I'm gonna go right into where I can feel something on this side, and we'll just stay here for a little bit. Sometimes that other leg, the inner thigh or the leg muscle, the quadricep will really be trying to hold on. So see if you can encourage some release and softness in both of the legs here.
then when it's almost time for Shavasana, all the animals come to town. Hey, Lucy. Lucy. Bring your knees towards your chest. And then just hands on top of your knees, let your knees fall away. And then come towards your chest a few times. Can you come in here so they can see you? You sound so angry. Hey, sweetie, we're right here. We're right here. I think she has a bit of dementia, so sometimes she gets a little startled on where she is. And then rock a little left and right here. Take your feet back down to the floor. We'll just do a windshield wiper twist here. So let the knees go to one side. And then we'll stay there for just a few rounds of breath. Hey, sweet girl. You can turn your head toward the opposite shoulder if that feels okay or feels good on your neck.
Especially if there's a cat that way.
Get some cat sugars.
I got you.
Just let your knees slowly come up to center and over to the other side. And you always have the option to stop and pause the video and take a longer twist or on any of these Yin Yoga postures that you want. Bring the knees back up. Bring the knees in toward the chest again. So Upanasana, just to neutralize and have something symmetrical movement-wise before we settle in for Shavasana here. So when you're ready, and I'm actually going to let Megan go ahead and lie all the way down if she can find room amongst the animals.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll share a little meditation with you that I found when I was preparing for my class that I taught yesterday. And I talked to the authors and they agreed to allow me to read this. So I will share the link in the video. And it was a meditation for social unrest, but it really spoke to me because it just kind of addresses some of the things that we might be feeling in a time of heightened awareness and concern for things that might be going on in the world. Take a few rounds of breath. Take this moment in, don't rush it. Allow your thoughts to pass through your mind. Don't judge them, don't engage them. Just let the thoughts play themselves out and continue your controlled breathing. Taking a full breath in, full breath out. Breathing like this dilutes stress hormones that could be coursing through our veins. Alert stillness is a beautiful, important aspect of meditation. Any energy that would be dissipated by fidgeting is conserved in the stillness.
Allow yourself to relax, letting go of your mental to-do list, bringing all of your awareness within. With a deep breath, allow mature solemnity and innocent sincerity to wash over your heart and mind. Dedicate this moment to all that is living, loving, good, beautiful, and true in the universe. Take a few deep breaths. Allow that conserved energy to flow naturally through your body to where it is needed most. And give a few more moments to breath and stillness. Contemplation is fertile soil for insight. It helps us understand, and understanding helps us become. Contemplate your greatest expression, your best self. Contemplate compassion. Forgiveness. Confidence and strength. Growth, progress, evolution. Contemplate faith, logic and creativity, health and healing, grace and honesty. Contemplate balanced relationships and opportunities to interact with the world in a more meaningful way. Contemplate intuition and synchronicity, wisdom, transformation. All of this and more, receive it now. Continue with deep breathing. Give a few more moments to breath and stillness, allowing insight to flow through. Wherever you may be watching the video, feel free to pause it and take as long of Shavasana as you like. Otherwise, when you're ready, start to make small movements. Just gently waking your body up, moving fingers, toes, maybe wrists and ankles. Checking back in with your body, your physical presence in the space. And begin to make slow movements toward moving over to one side. And take a few rounds of breath here, just giving yourself that moment to rebound. Feel the recovery, feel the restoration. Slowly start to bring yourself up to seated, any comfortable seated position. And when you get there, breathe in and out. Maybe check in with shoulders and neck. Check in with your kitty cat and your puppy dog. Bring your arms up, bringing in all good things you intend to share, bringing right down to your heart all good things intended to come to you. And as you move forward, as we move forward down the individual paths appointed to us, do so transformed, revitalized, and ready for anything. Ready for anything. And with that, thank you for practicing with us today. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.
Namaste.